Hey folks, welcome back to the channel. We went to a kind of a unique auction yesterday here, just down the road from us here in Nebraska. So stick around, we'll tell you about it and show you what we bought. So this auction was unique in the fact that at 1 o'clock they actually sold the property as well, not just the estate items. They sold the whole darn place. So it was just under 3.5 acres, and it sold at auction for $40,000. We were actually interested in the property. We're going to purchase it just to tinker around with. It had an old store on it, so we were thinking about maybe putting the old store back together or whatever. But the bank didn't see it valuable enough to loan on it because they were looking at it as farm property and not like really a homestead or anything like that. So they wouldn't do a loan on the property. So we don't have that much cash just laying around, so there's no way we could purchase it. But I met the couple that purchased it, real nice couple. Seems like they're going to homestead the place. But we're on our way there to look what it's going to take to get a tractor that we purchased home. So we're going to go look at it and we'll show you, take you along for the ride. Here's the property right here. Nice little piece of ground. Really peaceful out here. Lots of nice trees for shelter. Little chainsaw work in there. You could mow all that with a tractor. Here's the old house. Alright, we're back over here at the auction site where we were yesterday. Let's show you what we picked up here. We have ourselves a Cub model Farmall tractor. It's one of the smallest tractors they ever made. And everything's here. All the pieces are here. Nothing's missing. I don't know what year it is yet. We'll look up the serial number and figure that out. But before the auction, I come down here and made sure the motor was free. You can see the crank pulley down there moving. And that's always something you want to check. Not that it can't be fixed, but somebody had the forethought to put a mason jar on the exhaust pipe, because that's usually the problem, is water gets down in the exhaust pipe, gets down into the exhaust manifold, and eventually into the head and rusts up your pistons in there. But we don't have that issue, thankfully. So usually it's a little carburetor work. Make sure you got spark and these things will pop off. But had a little blade on the front. These tractors had like I don't know if it's hydraulic or if it's gear drive or what it is. This arm right here functions with this lever, and you can put a rear implement back here too, because that arm picks up and down. Like, doesn't act as a 3-point, but if you have something hooked to the back, it'll raise and lower it. But since the tractor's not running, I had to bring my come along over, hooked it up to the blade, and just pick the blade up off the ground so we can tow this thing home eventually. So we're going to get the chain hooked up to this thing. I'm going to drag it back here out of the weeds, see if I can rotate that tire around to where it's going to take some air. But we may just have to drive it home on a flat tire, which not ideal because that'll be a bumpy ride. Of course, we could bring the trailer down and put it up on the trailer too. So let's pull this thing backwards. Alright, we got her jerked out of the hole it was mired down into. We got more than a rear tire issue. We got front tire issues also on both sides. And this tire is cut all the way through, so it's not going to take any air whatsoever. This tire over here is holding up nicely. But another shredded front tire here. So we're not going to be pulling this thing home. It's only half a mile from home, but that'll be a crazy, stupid, rough ride. So we'll bring our trailer down, pull this thing up on our trailer, which will be a slow process, but we'll get her done. We'll do some Okie engineering and pull it right up. We'll bring both vehicles down, set up some pulleys, and take her right up on the trailer. You can see this property here. Property line goes clear down to the road down there. You see the end of the fence. Basically a pivot corner. There's a hay pivot out here. So it's common out here in Nebraska. People sell off the corners. So the other corner goes way up there on the road. But this is almost 3.5 acres. All these old vehicles and all this junk sold yesterday at the auction. People will be coming in. They have 2 weeks to pick it all up. There's a boat and a fifth wheel camper. But there's the RV site over there. They had a nice little fire ring. Beautiful little area here. Got a nice sized field on this southeast corner here that you could hay this and get a little hay out of it, or run some animals out here to keep it ate down. It's got a nice little garden area up here next to the road. Good sized garden. The barn actually's got some real good bones to it. Somebody put a decent roof on it. There's only a couple little areas where some repairs need to be done, but the siding's intact. The doors look a little janky up there, but inside the wood is all solid and it's all still square. It's not falling in. So it's a decent barn. Got a real nice garden space here, like we were saying. Got some fruit trees all around the property. Those are all fruit trees over here. I don't know if this is a wild plum or like a crab apple, but it's loaded this year. Got an old windmill tower there, just needs the motor up on top. They just put a brand new pump in the well, so it's got good water. You can see this one addition here on the center of the house. That all needs to come down. It wasn't done correctly. But the rest of the house is fairly decent. Kind of a weird layout. Lots of corners and kind of a maze in there. Well, we're going to head back home. Probably not going to trailer that thing today because I got to fly to Denver today to meet Mom. She's being brought in by my niece's husband to Denver, and we're going to do a trade-off, and then I'm going to bring her home today. So we don't have a lot of time this afternoon to mess around with this tractor. Alright folks, it's a few days later. I waited till Kelly was home yesterday and we went and picked up the tractor. I planned on videoing that, but we were kind of in a hurry and we just got her done and got her home. But we'll show it to you now and we'll unload this thing. It's pretty straightforward loading it up. We just backed up to it with the trailer, put the ramp down, and then we put a chain down here with a pulley, and then we had it on this yellow rope, and then Kelly pulled out that way with her four-wheeler and just pulled it right up on the trailer. I figured out that I needed to ratchet strap this ramp up because the sketchy work that somebody did on this trailer before, the connection there comes apart, so we're at risk of this thing falling down, going down the road. So we need to get that fixed soon. So we're going to get this thing unstrapped and we're going to just tie off to the front of it, probably down to this power pole here, down to the bottom of it. And then we'll just pull the trailer out from underneath it and hopefully she'll set down right here on the ground. She doesn't roll very good because of these tires. So I don't think there's much danger of this thing rolling and hitting anything over here. So let's get her done. Alright, we got this thing all tied up, ready to roll off here. We'll see how it goes. All right, went without a hitch. We will probably pull this tractor up a little closer here to the shop because it's going to stay here till we make it a roller. We'll get some new tires on it, and we'll probably try to get it running before we go to the expense of buying a bunch of new tires, because if the compression is all shot or whatever, but it really wouldn't matter. We'll probably just do the tires anyway, because even if the compression's bad, we'll probably still fix it. I'm hoping my first impression of this tractor is correct, where this thing's just purely needs some cosmetic work and some tires and maybe a little carburetor work, and this thing will pop off and run. But we've got lots of cool plans for this thing. It's not going to be just yard art. We'll drive it around. It's a perfect little parade tractor because it's small and you can tote it around on a fairly light trailer. But I plan on taking the blade off because I want a real clean looking tractor. I don't want all this stuff hanging on the front. Some people might think I'm crazy for doing that, but I just want a clean looking tractor. But that's the plan. So we'll get this thing moved up closer to the shop, get this rope off of it, get everything put away. I just noticed something really sweet. The missing radiator cowling up here was actually sitting in this box. There's two of them. They go up here on the side of the radiator like that and screw down to the bottom, and then the front screen that goes around there also mounts to those. So I was glad those were saved. And then if you remember the other day when we were down there, there was other parts that we grabbed that were just loose on here. We got the hand crank that snaps into these little tabs here, and there was a couple extra lights and stuff. So sweet, I'm glad we had those parts. Let's pull the dipstick on this thing real quick. Boy, look at that. That oil's like honey colored. Boy, you can't ask for anything better than that. That means it was cared for. Let's take a look in this tank. Smells like old gas. Let's turn some light on the subject here. Wow. No rust, just a little sludge. We're going to have this tank off, so we'll rinse this thing out. I thought the tank would be okay because it looks like a fairly new tank, or recent. But yeah, you can't ask for anything better than that. Just gotta need to be rinsed out. Our exhaust pipe's just sitting on here, so we'll get a clamp for that and make sure this is the correct exhaust pipe. I want to get a little flapper thing up here on the top. Yeah, this is going to be a sexy little tractor, folks. Let's look at the serial number. We'll look this thing up, see what year it is. All right, by the serial number, this is a 1951 Farmall Cub. Before they switched to international, they switched to international in 1964, I believe. But you can still get parts for these things. There's online stores that you can go to that even have remanufactured parts, and a lot of the sheet metal, whatever you need, the front grille that we need, we can get that. We also need a battery box cover, looks like. But that's cheap and easy stuff, and that's super cool. You can still get the emblems and the decals and everything for the side, so once you get it painted, it'll look like a brand new tractor. The tractor wasn't the only thing we picked up at that auction. I'll show you a picture of some other stuff we got. Got a real nice little barn quilt, kind of John Deere colors. And Kelly found her a Ninja blender that was like brand new. So we picked that up, and then all of the glass work that you saw my daughter's, Becky's into all that stuff. There was some red Avon glass pieces that she wanted, and some little glass little slipper thingies that she wanted. So we picked those up for her birthday coming up in October. So she was really happy about that stuff. That glassware is all over out here in Nebraska. All the elderly ladies collected that stuff all their life. There's carnival glass and every kind of glass you can imagine, and it's everywhere out here. Every auction, every estate sale is just full of it. So if you're a glassware enthusiast, come out here to Junk John or one of the local auctions every now and then, and you'll find it. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's video. It's getting warm, so we're going to go inside and do some stuff we need to get done inside. We hoed around in the garden this morning, got that done while it's cool. But we're excited about this new project here on the farm, and we'll keep you updated on it, and we'll do some videos when we're fixing it. So, till next time, stay safe, stay healthy. We love you guys. We really appreciate all of you tuning into our content. Our viewership goes up every week. Seems like we're doing pretty well on our channel, and that's thanks to all of you. And the more people that see our stuff, the more people we can get out to. So, we'll see you next time, folks.